welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I'm joined by my great buddy, Brandon Schultz, in for Adam. And of course, it would not be, it could not be, we could not traverse this Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the multiverse, Mr. Phil Leidick, down there, center square. Boys, this is for all the marbles. Here we are. Week 18, mano y mano, and we're going into freaking Santa Clara, almost said the actual city, into Santa Clara to battle our biggest rivals for the 1 seed. Brandon, this has it all. What else could it have, Brandon?
Oh, gosh. Well, it could be for the division title. Oh, no, that's right. It actually is for the division title. Yeah. It could be for the number 1 seed and a bye week in the playoffs, which, it's that too. So. Yeah. I don't know. Do we get a pony if we win?
I had a pony. Mr. Field, did you have a pony growing up?
I never ridden a pony. I think I fed a pony with some, snacks that they have kids give ponies when they go up and pet them at the petting zoo or the petting barn.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have a pony. But Mr. Phil, way more important than ponies are these stupid 40 whiners coming right up here. And overall, we're going to, of course, I know we'll do a previously with the protector, but in this episode, we're going to look at your theme. We don't even know what your theme is yet. We'll look at that. And then 6 unique questions and topics that help us discuss and break down, debate this
wishes. We got
game.
Wishes coming. We got all kinds of things.
We got everything coming up. So look, that last game, we are one Caleb Williams arm throw away from this game not mattering, but it falls a little bit short. What did you see in that game versus the Bears as it pertains to our opponent, the 49ers here, bud?
Yeah, I was cheering for the Bears, and if they won, that would mean we're playing this game to try to defeat the Bears for the 1 seed, I guess. So it would have been kind of weird. This makes it more exciting because we're going against the one that also wants the free win in the playoffs, the bye week, the rest, the top seed. By the way, the Seahawks, every time we get the 1 seed, we go to the Super Bowl. When we haven't got the 1 seed, there has never been a time that we've gone to the Super Bowl without the 1 seed. So kind of a big deal for us. But first we have to get through our number 1 lifetime rivals, really the worst fans in sports. I hope you're watching. Maybe you hate us as fans. We don't, I guess, hate you as people. We just hate your fanning more than any other way that anybody ever fans. Wherever you go to a game, if there's Niner fans there, they're the worst people in attendance, at least the way they behave themselves. So I know you know that, Niner fans. I mean,
guys, I live on the East Coast. I do have Eagles fans within my proximity. So, you know, batteries being thrown and all that stuff. But yes, the sports hate overflows for the 49ers, Phil.
It's the general attitude. It's never their team's fault when they lose. And they're called the faithful, even though they don't show up unless their team has a winning record. It's all the things about what it takes to be a Whiner fan that makes me crazy to be. And I have some of the people that I love most in life are Whiner fans. We just can't hardly talk football without it getting weird.
Okay, so. here's the reason why I think they're a little more annoying than Eagles fans. Well, because an Eagles fan can point to a recent championship and say and be kind of cocky about their franchise.
Yeah, true.
And Niners fan points to their championships as if they're relevant within the last 30 years when we were still using VHS tapes the last time they won the Super Bowl.
It was a different millennium, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 94, boys. I mean, look, Bill Clinton was in his 3rd year of his first presidency. So just to get back in the Wayback Machine to celebrate as Niners fans often do. But Brandon, you're exactly right. They just, we have 5 chips. We have 5 chips to your lonely one. It's like, dudes, who cares what happened in 1994? It's 31 years ago. 31
the last
years
time you won a chip, we were not even in your conference.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The funniest thing that'll happen this Saturday is on those, and the jerseys, I have to admit, they're pretty rad. They're pretty great jerseys. But the funniest part is right on the middle where it says faithful, and they're the most unfaithful fans that I know of. You don't see any Niner gear unless they're currently winning anywhere. And then it sprouts up everywhere when they're back to above 500. So the fact that they're called faithful is the most laughable thing in sports, by the way. But let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this game where they faced the Bears. Instead of going through individual plays like I often did, I just kind of encapsulated. I'm pretty sure we all watched it. It was a great game, but unfortunately, the Winers got the win. They gave up 330 yards, no picks, and a couple touchdowns to Caleb. The weirdest thing is Caleb generally has bad stats until the final drive, and this was the opposite. He destroyed them throughout the game and then didn't come through at the end like he has all season. So that was kind of different. Yep. They gave up 6.9 yards of play, but only 110 on the ground. I mean, why run when you can just throw it through them? No turnovers, no sacks. They did hold the Bears to 26 minutes time of possession. That's also probably a lot to do with the lack of the Bears needing to even run. Offense looked awesome. I have to admit, Kyle was getting people open the whole time. Scored on all but 3 drives. They just had the 1 pick and 2 punts. 200 yards exactly rushing, 296 yards through the air. They were 7 of 10 on third. They got their only 4th down. Just 1 sack, 1 interception. Anything else jump out to you when you watched Niners Bears, Brandon?
Yeah, the thing that surprised me, I guess, a little bit is that they really didn't test Lenore that much, and I guess he would be their quote unquote scariest player on defense, but yeah. I don't even know if you really needed to avoid him, but I guess that was the one thing I just wanted to see them go after him a little bit. But again, when you're able to put up 330 yards on the pass, like maybe not targeting their best player on defense, then I guess just do that.
How about you, Clinton? What jumped out to you about this great game that didn't go the way we were kind of hoping?
Well, 2 things. You mentioned earlier that the Bears, mainly got it through the air and got enough on the ground. But like I thought, whenever DeAndre or Monangai got touches, they were ultra successful there too. So it looked the Niners were getting gashed in the run game. I think that'll play into today's analysis. The other thing from the Niners side was all the newer motions with Kyle Juszczyk. They're interesting. We saw it sprouting up a couple of weeks ago, and they do like these half orbits. It's just a new wrinkle that I think Miami started doing a little bit ago, and now Shanahan is like looked back at his apostle and adopted some of that back into their game. It's just some new interesting movements, man. And a little bit of kudos at the onset before we talk about how we're going to win this game, that, the 49ers do reinvent themselves faster than the average Bear the NFL. And the Juszczyk stuff to me is just another wrinkle. It hasn't really been there. And then of course, last thing is Purdy with his legs, and just all of a sudden Purdy is running like Lamar and creating havoc with his legs. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be a lot of fun to review. I know that.
It's not quite Lamar. And of course, I know you don't mean that, but
right. Purdy, it's more like Russell. It's more like Russ, early Russ.
Purdy throws the pick 6, but the thing about Purdy, he's just ahead of everybody with his mind, just enough. Like whether it's in the rhythm game, which is unlike Russ, or in the scramble plays, which is like Russ, but he's just a tick ahead of where the defense angles they think they need or positioning. And he's not a physical, incredible specimen physically, but he is mentally quite incredible in his ability to bounce back and his ability to kind of see what's going to happen. There's a little bit of Brady in there in my mind. There's a little bit of Brady, and maybe I'm not saying he's Brady's level, but the way that he kind of sees the game, and then he has the running talent.
Yeah, dangerous dude.
Yeah, I'll say all the bad things about the Niner fans. I won't bash Purdy because he impresses me quite a bit. Well, our theme this year, there was a bunch of ways I could have gone for this final game, but it seems like 14 is a big number for this game, and there's 2 reasons for 14. The first one is the Seahawks have never had 14 wins. And if we do get this 14th win, it'll mean it's the 4th time we have the number 1 seed, which means it'll be the 4th time we go to the Super Bowl, of course. And then we also have number 14 as our quarterback. And he's already probably the greatest 14 in the history of Seahawks, and he's only played, 16 games. But he can really make that number special by leading us to...
DK slander.
What's that?
DK slander.
That's probably a little bit of slander. But people are already duct taping Darnold on the back of their jersey. It's like they're disbelieving he ever existed. But he did have some great plays. That's a great point. Maybe the greatest 14 quarterback.
It has to be true.
Yes, it has to be. Number 14, instead of having all these dealing with 4, I almost did categories with the word teen and 4 and split the difference, but there's so many great 4s. So we'll just stick with 4. We're trying to get to our 4th Super Bowl, which if we win this, we will go to our 4th Super Bowl. So let's focus on the word 4. This will be Brandon's shot to go first. We have these 4 categories, some great ones. 4 seasons, 4 corners, 4 horsemen, Final 4, 4 Fantastic 4, and the 4 Gospels. So we've been a couple of biblical ones in here as well, Brandon. Where would you like to go first? There's even a game or 2 behind some of these.
All right, shoot. Well, I guess since maybe it is the time for the religious season, 4 Gospels. Why don't we start there?
Just go right into the 4 Gospels. Of course, the gospel means good news. I didn't know we'd get to this one first, but Brandon, what if you share some reasons that Sam will have a good day and Brock will have a bad day on Saturday night? Right to the quarterbacks, right off the top. Good news for Hawk fans, which means bad news for 49er fans. Can't be gospel for everybody, but let's hope it's gospel for us, Brandon. What are the reasons?
You know I wanted to talk about quarterbacks first, and I sniffed it right out. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, good reasons why Sam will have a good day, Brock will have a bad. It comes down to defensive line on both sides. And what we've seen from the 49ers, especially this past couple of weeks, because as Seahawks fans, I know we've kind of been interested in the Niners for a couple of weeks now, kind of seeing this game coming up at the end of the season. And so I feel like as a fan base, we've kind of dialed in, and we've got to see them on in primetime games too, because they had the primetime game against the Colts, which was interesting because Phil Rivers, his second game back after coming out of retirement, we saw him against us, and he had a real bad day. And then we watched him against the Niners, and it was like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden Phil he has all this time to throw downfield, and they're putting up points, and yet they didn't come out on the positive end of that, but I just did not expect to see Phil Rivers look like 3 times magnitude better. And I think a lot of that had to do with that defensive line of the Niners that he was going up against. And then same with Caleb. He had all kinds of time.
That's right.
You pointed out how he didn't have a single sack. The only reason why I think they didn't put up more points on the board is because Caleb missed some really wide open throws that were pointed out throughout the broadcast.
True.
Sam Darnold is not going to miss those wide open throws the way that Caleb Williams is. And if you give him all that kind of time, I think we're going to see a good Sam Darnold game, because while I don't think that we have maybe the receiving, like the well-rounded receiving crews that maybe the Colts and even the Bears do, we do have a JSN, and we do have A.J. Barner, which I would like to see him get more involved. But focusing on the quarterbacks and going to Brock now, I don't think he's, trying to think of a defensive line that he would have faced recently that can get pressure on him with 4. Because, again, like you pointed out,
Browns, fairly recently. Okay. And he didn't do great against the Browns. He had like his most men's day.
Yeah. And they won by double digits in that game.
But it was like 20 points. And
it wasn't a great Brock game.
Yeah. They had short fields all day because of turnovers too.
Yeah. So that would be, okay, that's the one. And I think that we're going to be able to generate pressure with 4, which is pretty key against Purdy, because if you blitz him, he's going to find the open guy. If you give him time, he's definitely going to find the open guy. And the interesting part about this is when you do get pressure with 4, his average depth of target actually increases. Like most people go for checkdowns. He actually looks farther downfield. And even with throwing on 4, with a pass rush of 4, if you're getting that pressure on him, that's where you get those interception possibilities.
Yeah. Love those, Brandon. Love those. So a lot of your answers will bleed into one of our other questions that we have later, but there's no doubt about it. The difference in the pass rush is the story of this game, we hope. Clinton, do you have anything to add to that? Because I think Brandon took the big obvious one off, but some good news for Sam, bad news for Brock in this game.
Yeah, let's start with the good. Right? We want to start with there, and the good for us and for Sam. There was a Mike Macdonald quote that was going around maybe a day or 2 ago now. Maybe it was on Brock and Salk or something, maybe it was at the podium, whatever it was. And he's being asked about A.J. Barner's kind of second-year emergence. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's the man. And he's like, yeah, and Clint wants to get him involved even more. He wants to give him the ball even more. And I'm sitting there going, who's stopping you? Hey, you're the head coach, and the dude you just mentioned is the offensive coordinator, right? So who is stopping you from, you go watch Colston Loveland, you go watch Tonjes when it's Tonjes, or if it's Kittle, and the dudes are getting 7, 8, 9 targets a game. Okay. And then we got Barner, who, 3 to 4 to 5 targets a game, and his catch rate is astronomically high, and his yak is really good, and he has a nose for the end zone and a nose for big plays. So I don't know who's stopping you, because I can tell you right now, Bethune on the Niners, he's an okay linebacker. He's not a great coverage linebacker. So if we got to go, take advantage of that while Fred Warner is still out, let's take advantage of the middle of the field, because we know the 49ers are going to try to do that, because Purdy does not live on the outside.
Warner is awesome against tight ends.
He's amazing.
He's not playing until the playoffs.
Fred Warner is probably the best linebacker, in totality in the league. He's really, really amazing. And he can, extinguish a good tight end, but Bethune cannot. So that's a big one for me, guys, is can we get even more Barner? One other, I'd say, cherry on top is, we didn't have Shaheed last time, right? This was, and Shaheed's a pretty big deal now. Will we have him this time? He gets concussed on a pretty dirty play by Mike Jack, getting spun out of bounds actually pretty late. But, hopefully he clears protocol. We're recording this on Wednesday morning. We won't know yet. But if we have Shaheed, that's another reason that Sam can have a lot of success here amongst the other stuff. Flipping it over to the other side, for me, with Purdy and how he can have a bad time, Brandon, you got at it. Our bread and butter is getting pressure with 4. In addition to that, we can send a 5th guy every now and again. It could be very dangerous against Purdy for 2 reasons. He's got really good escapability, and he's smart, right? So he could read that and find the open guy. However, I do expect Macdonald to do what he has to do to attempt to heat up Purdy, because when you do heat him up legitimately, and it's not just scramble play drill time, heat him up and kind of keep him in the pocket, it's a little bit of a combo. That's when you get the Turdy Purdies. That's when you get the floaters, where he just throws the ball 3 yards or so too high over a tight end, and it's landing right in like Ty Okada's arms or Julian Love's arms, who's playing center field. So it's what Brandon said, and the other piece of the puzzle there, guys, is just look, no other team, I say it every single week, no other team has the pieces that we have. No other team has Witherspoon or even Wari. And when you have that kind of speed and tackling on the outside, you could do things and take different risks that other teams cannot take. And that's, I expect Macdonald to lean heavily into those talent pools.
Yeah, this was some really great thoughts. And Purdy's picks usually aren't in the scrambling, to your point there. They're usually when he thinks he sees it from the pocket and oops. I kind of like the option of you got E-Man and Spoon on either side, and if he does scramble, then now you're the spy. Now you are going to make sure because I don't think he has the athleticism to beat either one of those guys out on the open field. It just it might leave a little bit of a hole for Juszczyk or Tonjes or whichever tight end is there. If we do have Spoon or E-Man come up to try to cover him, that would be the concern in that, wouldn't you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I think. Gosh, he brought up Tonjes. Takes me back to week 1. Now you got me fuming.
He makes me think of Tungus from AM/PM, but too much good stuff. You know that creature.
Yeah, I also think that gosh, the way DeMarcus Lawrence is playing, Brock Purdy has a little bit more speed than maybe even Bryce Young, but Lawrence, man, he's been able to track down quarterbacks when they get outside the pocket, and that's been really fun.
With violence too, right? We didn't mention that Trent Williams has a hamstring injury and is, we don't think he'll play because that's typically a multi-week thing. So, Brandon, when you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence, if he's coming from Trent's side, and who's the dude? Pleasant, I think his name is Pleasant, right? The backup, Pleasance, and it seems seemingly like a fine enough backup, but a Hall of Famer to be, he is not. So yeah, let's get some blindside versus Purdy. That would be nice.
Well, we've completed the 4 gospels. We go over to Clinton's side. We have 5 4s left. Where do we want to go?
Well, guys, if it's on the board like this, I'm a UConn alum. I love my UConn Huskies. We're always in the Final 4. Let's go Final 4.
Final 4 is the game. Of course, we're going to have a little bracket fun this time. But what if you do a bracket of more likely instead of what you want, which a lot of times I do? This time it's what do you think is more likely in this matchup? Clinton will go first. I have 8 things here that you can quickly boil them down. I'll let you go first, and then you just got to go quick, and then Brandon will go first. So more likely, Clint, Purdy has 4 sacks or 4 turnovers.
Oof, actually 4 turnovers. They don't get sacked a lot. They've given up 7 sacks in the last since week 9. So yeah.
Okay. For CMC, minus 85 on the ground or minus 50 in receiving for CMC.
So under 85 on the ground or under 50 receiving. Under 85 on the ground. Seattle. That's Seattle's strength.
Okay. And then Sam, under 2 turnovers or 3 touchdowns. More likely.
More likely, 3 touchdowns.
Okay. And then how about this? We rush for 140 or JSN gets 120.
Rush. We're rushing the ball really well. We're now top 10 since like week whatever, like last 5 or 6 weeks. And this is not a good run D.
All right. So we have your final 4. We'll come back to your final 4 after we do Brandon. Same question. 4 sacks on Purdy or 2 turnovers?
Yeah. 2 turnovers. My answers are pretty close to Clinton's, but
CMC 85, minus 85 on the ground or minus 50 in the air?
Minus 85 on the ground.
Okay. Well, you guys are the same. Sam, under 2 turnovers or 3 touchdowns or more?
3 touchdowns.
Wow.
The last one is where I'm different.
Okay. We rush for 140 or JSN gets 120.
Yeah, I think JSN 120. I'm going to go with that.
Okay. So that's one difference. Usually with Adam, we're like half different. So you guys are sharing a brain a little more, or I did a poorer job of having questions that are hard to answer. Clinton, 2. Okay, so here you got to choose between Purdy getting 2 turnovers or are we holding CMC to under 85? What's more likely?
I think CMC under 85 is more likely. I think it's more significant if we could turn Purdy over twice. And he will. He'll fumble a little bit and he will throw picks, but I still think it's more likely that CMC stays under 85. That's a pretty big number.
Okay. And then our side, we get 3 touchdowns from Sam or 140 on the ground.
This is Zach attacking K9. And who knows, whoever else might touch the ball back there. Maybe some Shaheed if he's back. 140. I think we're going to need a nice run day. And I think KK is going to, really lean into and want to make sure we have a good amount of run.
And that's not need, but you think it's more likely. So
I think it's more likely. Yeah.
Okay. And Brandon, Purdy getting the 2 turnovers or us holding CMC under 85? What's more likely?
CMC under 85 again. He's only gone over 85 4 times this year on the ground. And and that's where it comes down to, one, again, a great run team. And another thing with CMC, he's about 120 yards away from 1,000 receiving yards. And that would be a really cool milestone for him, but he hasn't even gone over 100 yards receiving. So when I heard that brought up that he might play because he's, close to getting 1,000 yards receiving because he's also injured. But then I looked at it and it's like, he hasn't gone over 100 yards all year.
So it's too late for me to change it. But if I said CMC under 100 total or Brock 2 turnovers, what do you think would be more likely?
Yeah, it would be closer. I would, I might take Brock 2 turnovers
more than CMC.
Because I think 100. It'd be really hard to keep CMC under 100 because,
he's going to get 5 or 6 receptions.
Yeah, I almost went on reception number, but that just seems obvious that it's going to be 5 or 6. So. Okay, and then the last one for you, Brandon. Sam with 3 touchdowns or JSN for 120. What do you think's more likely?
I think the JSN 120 is a little more likely, and the reason why I didn't go with the rushing numbers is because the Niners' run defense is actually it is their strength. I know that they've given up some runs, but really this defense, they built it to stop the run because that was such a big of an issue for them last year, and so they have fixed that to an extent. I think that that's why I think JSN's more likely, and I think having the time to find him downfield, like he's going to be able to shake off some defenders and find some openings in zone.
And one of the things that makes their pass defense worse is that Bosa's gone, and Warner is probably one of the best pass defending linebackers in the league, and he's gone. So Yeah. All right, Clinton, your finale. CMC 85 more like minus 85 more likely, or us going for 140 is more likely. Which one do you think?
I'm going to throttle it. Maybe it's a bit of wish casting. I don't care. This is what if after all. 140 on the ground for our boys.
Wow.
It's just the time of season, and our trajectory has been going this way. This is like what people are going all bananas. Like, first of all, I get the quick little side quill. We scored the most points in franchise history. We broke our record in 16 games played, right? Not even needing the bonus game.
Sure.
Cool. Most points in history. I think we have the second most points in the league, and people are still like, oh, the KK offense, the Kubiak offense struggles. It doesn't. In totality, it doesn't. It doesn't always look smooth, but it doesn't struggle. And
some of those points, they're coming from us scoring other ways.
Fine, but that happened in 2013, 2014 also. I was
just throwing that out there.
Oh, for sure. That's what good teams do. Brandon, to your point, though, the Niners, when they drafted, right, they got Alfred Collins and CJ West, who you got to interview down at the Shrine Bowl, up the middle now. And they're playing significant snaps with both those dudes weren't really ready game one. I think CJ West was definitely hurt, and Collins was like just kind of having a sporadic start to his year. But now they're getting significant snaps, and those are beefy big boys.
If they're good at anything, it's not stopping the pass play. If those guys are good at anything, it's not pass defense.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch CJ West go against our guards, and if it's like, or if it's up against Sundell or up against Zabel, he's just a bigger dude. CJ West is a mauler down there, the 0 or 1 technique. Let's see what he can do, because if they get that frontal pressure, it causes havoc for any quarterback, including Sam. So I like CJ West, and I hate that he's a 49er.
So of all the 8 things, Clint says the most likely is we run for 140 yards.
Let's go.
It's going to happen. Brandon, of all the things, you are down to us holding CMC under 85 or JSN going over 120. Which is most likely?
I'm more confident in holding CMC under 85.
I think that's probably the best answer.
But
it's kind of a boring one because I did a terrible over under, but yeah.
No, it's fine. I think it talks about how important it is to limit CMC. And when you look at the teams that do that, I was looking at his average yards. It is a drastic difference in the 49ers' success when he is at 3.2 yards per rush. Versus when he goes over that. It's almost night and day as whether it's a close game, whether they actually, like all of their losses, he has 3.2 yards per carry or less. And a lot of those are close games that he's had. And if he goes over that and an average per carry, they're all wins.
Okay. And he won't, because our run defense is awesome. But that'd be terrible. If CMC gets going on the ground, that does not portend well for us. Brandon, Final Four and 4 Gospels are gone, but we do have 4 seasons, 4 corners, 4 horsemen, and Fantastic Four left. Where will we go?
Oh, let's go with some 4 horsemen.
Okay. 2 choices, both times.
There's also the Metallica component of 4 horsemen, so it has a musical twinge to it. So that's kind of why I went there this time.
From the same place, yeah. Brandon, what if we talk edge rush and offensive tackles? So we've been talking about it a lot already, but is there more to drill into? How might injuries and then this offensive game planning play a role in quarterbacks having requisite time to function? We've been already hinting at some of the injuries. I gave you a lot to work with, Brandon. Where do you want to go?
Oh yeah, there's a lot to work with here. I think with the Niners, this is the one question I do have with the way that we're able to get edge pressure, and with Pleasance likely playing in at left tackle. I'm kind of curious how Kittle's going to be able, because they're either going to use Kittle then to help out, but they also have a fullback who can help out.
Yeah.
McCaffrey is a really good running back at picking up pass rushers. So they have the guys to help with that. And again, that's why I think that blitzing this team is kind of, you have to definitely pick and choose when you're going to do it to catch them off guard, because that's ultimately they can beat you that way. But how is that going to then disrupt their pass game a little bit? And so I think with getting those 4 and getting that type of pressure, and that way, because again, Juszczyk leading out. McCaffrey, getting out of the backfield. I said leading out, leaking out. Yeah. And then Kittle, like if they have to stay in and provide a little bit of that extra blocking just to block 4 of our dudes, I think that's going to disrupt their pass game enough to where that it's just going to give our defense that much more of an edge.
Yeah, I like that. They're going to have a hard time. They're going to have to do something, but Kyle is often up to the task. Clinton, do you think he will be? What about on our side? Trent might not play. What do you have to say about the tackles versus edge rush combinations in this matchup that hasn't been said?
Yeah, I think the part for us is like yesterday we get news that Josh Jones would have been on the injured list. Again, we're recording this Wednesday for folks that are going to drop a comment and say, "Oh, there's news about this." We understand, but it's Wednesday afternoon Wednesday morning actually as we record this, so we don't know yet. And they bring up Amari Kite, right? So Alabama player for those that don't know, and then he did his 5th year at UCF, University of Central Florida, and he's a backup. And my concern is that the Panthers got pressure and they weren't supposed to either, but the Panthers still got a decent amount of pressure on Sam and at least made it uncomfortable. And then when they sent a 5th, they were pretty effective with that. The interception, the JSN, the back of the end zone. I don't think it's a good decision by Sam, but K9's coming over to get the extra blocker, does an okay job, but gets pushed back into Sam, kind of, inhibits the throw a little bit, and it's picked in the end zone. It's a big, let's put it this way. We were talking a little bit before we went live that if this 49ers team, even if it's Kite or not, if this 49ers team can get legitimate pressure on Sam, and even if we win the game, it doesn't really bode well for our chances when we do go face some of the more premier defenses that are out there. So that's what I'm watching, guys. It's just like this Niners team is the worst in the league in QB sacks and getting the QB pressures and QB hits, basically 31st and 30th and 32nd across the board in some order.
It's Bryce Huff with 27, and the next guy has like 10 or 11 pressures.
Exactly.
But if it's Bryce Huff against Amari Kite, like that's a matchup that benefits the Niners, and Huff's totally the type of veteran that could school Amari Kite.
Totally does. And if you watch the Seahawks, and we all do, I'd say more often than less often, when we overload a side, we actually overload the right-hand side with like 12 and 13 personnel, or 12 personnel with like tight end, but then we put Cooper Kupp right in line on the right-hand side. We do that more than we do the left-hand side. We just might have to flip and reverse that, especially if that's Kite. I think we got the talent. And if Shaheed's not in, one other wrinkle, if Shaheed's not in, it does mean we get more Bobo. And Bobo is I think he's a better blocker. Obviously, Shaheed's got all the speed in the world. So it just changes the game quite dramatically, and more condensed formations, less shots downfield. It's going to be interesting. So that Kite thing is going to be really, really interesting, whether it's Jones or Kite. And Huff is still a legitimate end in the league. Only one they got, but he is legitimate.
I hope it doesn't push Clint into this ridiculous no downfield passes to JSN in the first half because he's so terrified about tack. That's going to just drive me nuts, because if there's any team we should be able to get some time against, maybe even if it's max protect, but still send JSN downfield. Do you guys have the same worry or concern in this that, oh no, we don't have our tackles, so Clint's going to keep all of his deep shots in his pocket until the fourth quarter again?
I'm concerned about that just because that's what he's been doing. Yeah. You look at the number of I went and looked because we were talking about this in the Discord, Phil, how it seems like they've really taken the deep shots out of the bag. And it has been, in particular, in the first halves of games. The difference is, so there's, and I was looking at it pre-Rams game, the first Rams game with the 4 interceptions. So kind of using that 4 interception game as, okay, this feels like maybe where there was a shift in the offense. And it was 3 times more deep attempts in the pass game pre the 4 interception game versus after. Now, there are a couple more games, but still, you'd expect it to be closer to 60-40 rather than double. So it's definitely, they've made that adjustment to take a lot of those first half deep shots out of the offense, and I think that's part of the reason why we're scoring fewer points in the first half.
And deep shots weren't necessarily the cause of the picks, right, Clinton?
No, they were not typically. And I think I want to just take what Brandon's saying and your question, just rotate it one. Like, hey, what does that mean then, right? So how does it show out if that's the case? If Kubiak is a little nervous that we have a left tackle in there that we don't know what we're going to get. If it happens to be Kite, hopefully not. But if it is, so what will we see? We would probably see Sam in shotgun more, and maybe that's got K9 off his hip or Sharp's off his hip, but still shotgun more. Under center a lot less, and then play action under center, maybe gone, right? And Phil, to answer your question, that scares me a lot because that's where Sam is really effective still. So I really hope that even if it is Kite, Kubiak is like, we've got to get under center. And even if we boot to the right to get away from the left-hand side, fine, boot to the right. And but get Sam under center, get into play action early and often, and expose the middle of the field with crossers and drag routes, et cetera, because that is where the Niners can get got over and over and over again. We have to do it. So now I'm scared. Well, I wasn't earlier, but then you brought this up. I'm like, he's right.
Against the Panthers, we ran some play action under center, and then Sam just wasn't pulling the trigger. And I'm not sure necessarily why. If he was told you need to be 95% sure you won't throw a pick to pull the trigger, I don't know what the reasoning behind that was. Or did you hear anybody ask him about that this week, Brandon?
I haven't heard anybody ask him about it, but we just have seen this more tentative offense through the first half. And the thing is that it's worked. Yeah. So it's hard to really go against it when
6 in a row.
You play teams close and then you step on the gas pedal in the second half when everybody's kind of in a rhythm. You get a feel for the game, and Sam's done well with that. It seems like even without going and taking those deep passes, like a lot of his potential turnover-worthy plays have still come in the first half.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
We're not eliminating turnover-worthy plays. We're just eliminating the explosives in the passing game is my thought, but maybe
I know we got to move on, but one point there too, though, about last game. When I went back and watched the all-22 for 3 in, 3 out, the ones where it was like booting left and stuff like that, nobody's open. And when you take Shaheed out of the equation, which he was gone pretty early, really changes how you could threaten teams. And it was evident with what was getting separation was kind of lacking. And that's why they made the trade, even before, as Horton emerged and then Shaheed took his spot with the injury. Shaheed's a big deal, guys. So getting him back and having that component really it's big for us getting those play action things to hit.
Okay, Clinton, we do have 3 of our 4 still remaining. We've had a lot to talk about. Where are we going to go next?
Oh, you know what? Sometimes you want to relax. You want to, maybe a nice spa, nice meal. You get that at the Four Seasons. Let's go.
The Four Seasons. Or you might listen to some Vivaldi while you're there.
Sure.
The lovely Four Seasons.
Let's go.
Yeah. Clinton, what if we talk about Kyle and Mike's seasons, and how much does this game have to say about their coaching success this year? Obviously, they've had incredible success. How much of a factor or piece of the pie will this game be on remembering their season, Clinton?
Honestly, I think it's stupidly overweight to the maximum that it will impact our feelings as Seahawks fans, whether or not we get this 1 seed, win this game, exercise a little bit of this Shanahan demon here. And I think it's going to be a big, big imprint on the Seahawks for a long time, because if we get the 1 and we're home, we get the bye, we really have a very, very good shot of getting to the Super Bowl. And once you're in the Super Bowl, of course you want to win, and of course you can win because you're there. But the season's a success. And then, of course, you want to go in. But, I mean, Macdonald in year 2, it's like, well, that's a heck of a year. If this falls flat, and there could be different reasons, I won't get into them. It's just if it does. But let's say it falls flat and Macdonald's defense gives up 30+ because the Niners offense has been absolutely cooking. They are extremely efficient. They got better at running the football later in the year, and Purdy's on friggin' fire. Those are just facts.
I never thought they could do that without Trent. I did not think they could do that without him last week.
Right. And they did it without him, without Kittle and Pearsall's in all of a sudden. And third and Juwan is doing third and Juwan things. Not going to glaze him too much, but I do have to tip a professional cap and say, you guys are outperforming. So good for you. So if Macdonald's defense can't take this down, if we lose the game 21-20 and the defense plays great, all right, that happens. It stinks and it happens. If we give up 35 and lose this game by 7 or so, and we're never really in it, man, that's going to tarnish that feeling of that Macdonald has something truly unique and special here, and LOB worthy here. I'll save the Kubiak stuff for Brandon, and if he wants to go off on Mike too. But that's how I feel about how important this is, that Mike's defense shows the world, no. In the NFL, when it gets cold, good defense will stomp out good offense every day of the week and twice on Saturdays.
Brandon, how much is at stake for Kyle Shanahan, Mike Macdonald, as far as the story of their season in this matchup?
In this matchup, I don't think that either of these coaches really care about Coach of the Year, but I think Coach of the Year might be on the line for this game because everybody's been talking about Kyle, especially, and they should, because with all of the injuries that they've had, like expecting them to still be 12-4. Like I know Niners fans probably expected them to be 12-4 because we all looked at their schedule at the start of the season and went, gosh, this is one of the easiest schedules. And actually it played out that way.
That's right.
To where it has been a relatively easy schedule. And then with Coach Mike, like he's among the favorites. I think these two guys are two of the top three in terms of Coach of the Year candidates. Vrabel over on the AFC side with what he's done for the Patriots. So I think that a lot of voters for that award could be watching that game, especially with it being the primetime game. And, like Clinton was saying, man, if this defense then suffocates the Shanahan offense, then that's going to put Coach Mike in the driver's seat. I don't much care about awards either, but I think that this is something that's going to be a discussion point coming out of this game. And also from a Coach Mike perspective, to put it a little bit on him, I wonder if he looks at that Houston Texans defense, which has been the leader this year in points allowed, and sees that the Niners only put up 15 points against that Houston Texans defense. Is like, okay, this is the goal, because people have been talking about Houston and limiting this and their ability then to limit the Niners offense. Yeah, how about we can do the same?
I like that. There's no doubt about it. They've both had great seasons. To win that many games with such a putrid pass rush, as much as I don't want to give Kyle his props, he deserves what he's done with it, to be able to overcome that with an offense, to overcome that bad of a pass rush on defense. I never would have thought that was possible. And then there's no doubt what Mike's been able to do. But this is the guy. This is the guy in his division. He's one of the two guys that he's here to beat. He has to beat him at least once this year to say this has really been a great season. I think, like, he's had a great season, but a really great season, you have to beat Sean and Kyle both at least once. So,
with you.
Well done, gentlemen. Well, 4 seasons is gone. We're down to 4 corners and Fantastic Four, Brandon.
All right. Well, since there is an area called Four Corners in my home state of Montana, let's go to Four Corners.
That's a good point. Okay. Mr. Lenore has been talking garbage a couple times. We get to face him. What if we talk about the wide receiver cornerback matchups in this contest? Where do you see potential advantages or challenges for us, Brandon?
Man, I really am looking forward to some of these matchups because Juwan Jennings and if I'm going to put anyone, I think I want to put Tariq Woolen on Juwan, just because Juwan's very physical. I feel like Woolen's been stepping up his physicality, and with his size, I think it's a really good matchup between these two guys. So I'll talk about what I think is my favorite matchup, and it would be Woolen going up against Juwan Jennings, because we talk about it all the time. When it gets to third down, that's the guy that they look for. He's, as much as they've talked about Ayuk being such a big part of their passing game And as much as Deebo Samuel was part of their passing, like Juwan Jennings might be legit the best all-around receiver of the three of them. And he doesn't get, I think, talked about nearly as much as those other two. He definitely hasn't gotten paid as much as the other two.
Yeah.
And with Woolen, with this being kind of his last regular season matchup potentially before he's going in and looking for a contract this offseason, go in and show me that you can shut down 3rd and Juwan, Reek.
Love it. How about you, Clinton? Wide receiver, cornerback matchups, concerns, advantages. What are you excited about?
Well, yeah, I think the 49ers have an underrated, sneaky, kind of good wide receiving core. And it goes all the way down. Like Kendrick Bourne, I think, is actually a pretty good 4, and Demarcus Robinson and Juwan Jennings. Now Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall's been hurt all year, but then you go watch him against the Bears, and it's like the dude looks like the slot machine killer that he is out there. Just always open and just sitting down in these huge zones. The challenge for me, and I think for our Seahawks, is we like to play zone. Of course we slip into man, and of course there's lots of different combo coverages, so it's not as black and white as, okay, you're in zone. That's just not the way it actually happens out there. But we do play more zone than the average Bear, and between Purdy and his ability to get rid of the ball quickly, and the Niners' ability, that just very disciplined, on-time team, that I think is a huge challenge. So what do we have to do? Yes, I want to see Purdy heat up through the middle, but I think that comes at the risk of, I think you do got to send a guy or two. So from a cornerback perspective, timely chances. We have dudes, whether that's Spoon, whether that's even Worry, even if it's Job, or it's a safety blitz with Okada, or an A-gap blitz with Drake Thomas. We've got dudes who are quite effective at timely blitzing. And, whether or not they get a sack or not, that's not the point. Did they disrupt the play enough for a throwaway or incomplete pass? So one of the things I'll be watching, guys, is just like, I think the Niners are going to get theirs a little bit no matter what, in terms of throwing the ball around the yard a little bit. Can we get a cornerback blitz or two that surprises Purdy? Well,
I don't want to send extra. I think we need to win without extra.
I mean, he wins with, he wins without. It's like no risk it, no biscuit. I do trust that if we have to go into more man while we send an extra dude, or just whatever it is.
I just want D-Law and Leo, and I just want those guys to win.
I hear you, and I hope that is what happens. But that's that side of the ball. The other side of the ball is, I really do think this is hugely contingent on Shaheed playing this football game.
Okay.
Because I do think Lenore's good. I don't think he's going to shut down JSN, because I just don't think that happens. Yeah. But I really want Shaheed out there to do what he can do, which is stretch that field, because it's not the deep shot to Shaheed. Maybe we get one or two, because we really don't that often get a shot to Shaheed deep. But it's not the shot to Shaheed that you get or don't get. It's the layers underneath that get exposed and get opened because you have the dude taking the top off with Shaheed, and you get an 18-yard crosser and JSN is seemingly wide open. That's what I want to see. So I think it's really contingent on Shaheed opening up that secondary layer for JSN to eat.
If we don't have Shaheed, how can we leverage some advantages in the pass game?
More Barner, and take advantage of the middle of the field, take advantage of Bethune. I think D Winters is pretty capable back there, and I think he's a good coverage guy. But from a nickel perspective and all that jazz, let's take our chances. Let's see. I mean, Upton Stout might be out, right? So let's put a big body out there, athletic big body, and let's use between the hashes, and let's see Barner. What if Barner gets 7 or 8 targets? I think that'd be a pretty good deal for our Seahawks guys.
A million things we could talk about. We could spend 4 to 14 hours really talking about this particular matchup, because we know the teams well, and there's just so many things that could happen. But we only have one category left, because I've tried to keep it moving, haven't done my best job at it. We are at Fantastic Four, Clinton. It looks like that's the one you're going to select. Great choice, Clinton.
Thank you.
What if you give 4 non-quarterbacks from both teams that should have the biggest impact on the outcome? So 4 non-quarterbacks that will have the biggest impact on the outcome.
Okay. Yeah. So let's start on the defensive side for Seattle. I expect the D line to do their job, and do their job always. So I think a really nice, very clean Ernest Jones game it would be gigantically impactful, and that's having lanes to go shut down CMC and not let leak outs and things of that nature happen with Juszczyk, CMC, Tongus, et cetera, et cetera. So EJ, the fourth, mind you, would be my first Seahawk. Look, the Niners get lots of explosives, and Okada, as good as he's been, I think Kobe Bryant, if Kobe plays, he's a little safer in terms of like not letting people get behind him and not giving up and not taking a bad angle and not giving up huge chunk plays. The Niners,
unless Puka's involved, Kobe's really good.
True. But that's like Puka's good. But the Niners live and breathe on chunk plays. They really, really do a nice job of that. So let's go with Okada, because thinking Kobe still has the week off, and Okada just being super sound, not allowing anything behind him, great angles, great tackling. He could have a huge impact. You want 4 from each side, right?
Yeah, let's get a couple from each side of both teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 2 for them. Oh, huge impact, biggest outcome. So, I mean, give me 1 second on the Niners side. I mentioned them earlier. I'll go back to them. I really, between Kalia Davis and CJ West, they're not well-known names yet, but Kalia Davis gave us some heck the first time he played, and he's pretty good up the middle there. So between him and CJ West, if they can just get consistent pressure on our guards and on our center, that's bad news bears for us. So that could be really strong for the Niners. Look, I'll just go with Tongus. Whether it's Kittle or Tongus, even if Kittle's playing, the Niners will get into 12 personnel, and Tongus is proven to be a good weapon, not just a fluky catch against Tariq Woolen in the corner of the end zone. He's been good all year, and he's open a lot. So Tongus could be a big factor as well.
All right. How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, for the Niners, I have to go back to Christian McCaffrey, because he has the biggest impact for this Niners offense and their ability. It's interesting because in terms of MVP voting, I guess if Purdy had been healthy all year, he might be there. But a big reason why this team was able to win as many games as they have by losing their starting quarterback, apart from Shanahan just being able to, find a way to make it happen with backup quarterbacks too. But Christian McCaffrey being kind of the engine of their offense this year. So I think that if he is able to, like we talked about, if he's able to break that 85-yard mark, if he's able to get big chunk plays on the ground too, that could end up having a big impact. And so stopping McCaffrey, whether it's on the ground or through the air, is really, really big. On our side for defense, Leo Williams. I think we haven't talked enough Leo Williams, but his ability then to get after Purdy from up the middle. Their guards, they're okay, but I think Leo Williams should have an advantage and be able to get some nice interior pressure on Brock Purdy. So expecting a big day from him. You touched a little bit, Clinton, on Ty Okada. If he's out there, I think that could. My concern of anybody on defense is that Shanahan's going to find a way to exploit Ty Okada and the way that he, the way that he kind of over pursues some things. I think that would be a way that that could end up impacting the game.
Well, Ty's an anticipation player because he doesn't have the natural athleticism.
Right.
He pulls the trigger quick, and he's generally good. But if Kyle tricks him, that could be bad.
And that's why I think that Kyle has, I bet he would have some Ty Okada tricks in his bag. And so that's what we would have to worry about. And then, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. We talk about MVP on the side of the Niners. I think that a lot of times it goes to the best quarterback that wins the most games in a conference. I don't see that MVP voting going a lot toward Sam Darnold. Why can't this just be a big Jackson Smith and Jigba game, and people sit down for the MVP voting at the end of the season and go, Hey, why aren't we talking about this dude who led the NFC in receiving yards and was on the best team in the NFC? Like, why shouldn't that guy be considered for MVP?
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. Phil, you were just mentioning Job. Did you want to say anything about Josh?
No, he just worries me. I feel like if it's a big moment, and quarterbacks, they can attack him. I just feel like they can attack him even if he's there. I think he can get out physical sometimes for the ball. But like if he's on Jawan and it's third down, I think Job could actually be there and still Jawan would catch it. That's the kind of like plays on the ball I wish he was better at.
Well, it's very much like Trey Brown was for us, right? I like Trey Brown a lot, and often he'd be there, and it was just like, but not that he missed it, just like it was a good throw. He was there. It was good coverage, but the other dude still came down with it. That happened a lot, right? So, yeah. So I feel that. One other sneaky one, very, very quick, guys, is Sky Moore. And I know folks might chuckle about this, but it cuts both ways. And that every single Niners game I watch, Sky Moore makes a stupid punt return decision. Like he takes something back where he should fair catch it, and he takes a shot he should not take, and he hasn't been punished with it yet. But then other times, Sky Moore's getting a pop pass and a jet sweep or whatever it is, and it's like, oh, lo and behold, Shanahan's actually using Sky Moore's ability correctly, and he's kind of this dangerous gadget guy. But man, oh man, I'm putting it out there into the ether, Mr. Phil. I want to see a Sky Moore oopsie on a punt return muff that goes in our favor.
Love it. Well, I had long questions, and we have a lot to talk about with the Niners, but we do want to hear from our flock.
Yes.
So we have the wishing well where they put in their what if super hawk, and it's just become all about wishes at this point. But we've had a lot of wishes come true in this wishing well. So I'm glad that our flockers are using it. Brandon, how do they get a chance to drop these wishes in our what if wishing well?
Yeah, what you want to do is go to getintheflock.com. You help support the show there. You get ad-free episodes, so that way you plug those into your RSS, your podcast reader. You get a little link, put it in, and you can enjoy these shows ad-free in audio. I don't know how to help you out on video if you're a YouTube person, but whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on audio, you can go to getintheflock.com, and if you join at $3 a month above, you get in the Discord, you get into the What If channel, and you can leave your wishes for the wishing well that we're going to get to here.
And here's the wishing well. Amy, she keeps wishing for it. She keeps getting her wish. Jay keeps his season-long streak alive to make us keep him for the playoffs. Jay is rocking. I think Jay might be a future head coach like his uncle someday, straight out of special teams, the way he's going. Then we have Bunny, a bunch of wishes, 1 turnover generated, recovered, etc., 1 sack TFL, 1 PBU, and 49 souls taken. So thank you, Bunny. Josh wishes regarding his favorite dude, Sam. He keeps putting this time for touchdowns gift that he keeps dropping in our Discord. The OL holds strong all game, keeps Sam clean so he can efficiently and accurately distribute the ball for touchdowns. Yeah, get the ball and play a bunch. Get Sam some touchdowns. JSN Jiggy with it. The Minotaur, Derek Hall, releases his rage at the baseless suspension and has 2 sacks on Purdy. I would love anybody to get 2 sacks on Purdy. Might as well be Hall. Then we have California 12th Man. Wish the flood of Niner tears released on Saturday does not damage critical infrastructure around the stadium, which would prevent me from attending the Super Bowl and watching our Seahawks win a chip in the Niners house. So Cal 12th Man is already planning on going to our game back in the same stadium. By the way, we got another game in this stadium coming our way, I think. So that's a great point there. 12th Man Records win. I don't care how it's done. I just want to beat the Niners. Yeah, we all agree there. Charbs had his 100+ yard game. Now it's K9's turn. She's always wishing for a K9 100. The wish went Charbs' way last week. Maybe K9 gets it this week. Clinton, any of these jump out to you?
Yeah, there's only one. There's a lot of great ones there, but the one that matters, guys, this is Adrian waking up from the coma, and Rocky's about to go fight Apollo, and she leans in and she says, win. Wish 12th Man Records win. Yeah. I don't care how either. It's going to be a bloodbath battle, guys. This is not going to, I don't think it's going to be some blowout. I just don't see it. And Vegas does not see it that way. We just got to win. We win. We get the 1 seed and the crown and take
I think we can
soul.
blow them out, but I don't think it will. But we can.
We
a team with no pass rush can be blown out.
Yes, and they score, and we have a great defense, right? So, but hey, win the ball game. 12th man record takes it.
Any of these jump out to you, Brandon?
Minotaur coming back.
Yes,
Derek Hall. I do love Lisa's call out that for him to have a big game, I would love to see it.
Okay. How about y'all's What If Superhawks? Brandon gets to go first. The last What If Superhawk for the regular season. What do we got?
I'm going to call out A.J. Barner because the last time that we faced the Niners in week 1, 2 targets, 1 reception, and 0 yards. So having A.J. Barner be a bigger part in this past game against the Niners, especially with Fred Warner not being out there, that's a big difference from week 1, right? So that could be a significant reason why he wasn't involved. But also, I think he has developed as a pass catcher over this season too, and rarely do you see him. He's only had 4 or more catches in a game 4 times this season. So I'm going to say at least 4 catches for A.J. Barner and a touchdown. He's my What If Superhawk. 4
catches and a teeter for Barner. How about you, Clinton?
Well, first, I love that. Second of all, I've got a doozy here, boys. I wrote down 3. Maybe I should have done 4 for the theme, but the one I'm going to circle right now as I look at them all, I want 2 Seahawks scoring drives that last at least 5.5 minutes. 2 of those. That is the way. Hopefully for 6 and then 7 or 8, but 2 scoring drives
in the first quarter. I think you have to tag it with that.
Oh, there we go. Love that. Just a way to keep this offense off the field, but also tire out this defense that we could exploit later in the game when we're running the ball effectively. And it might be sloppy out there. Rain's in the forecast. Man, I want the lights coming down. I want to see the rain coming down, Phil. And I want to see us in victory formation because we closed out this game and we ate the clock and we played Seahawk football. That's
some defensive victory formation. That's the best.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that again. Yeah. The Canalis, as we'll call it from here on out, right? So
I like it. 2 long drives, at least 5.5 minutes. However we score, that'd be fine. I'm down with that as well. I mean, this is for win number 14. Can you believe it? Win number 14 and well earned. It's not like we've lucked our way into the chance to win the 14th time.
And we are only 4 wins away from holding up that trophy in this same stadium at the end of the season.
So what's going to happen? Are we going to get our 14th win, Brandon? Clinton has run away with the, since you weren't there to contest him this year, he just only had to face Adam, I guess. So, but, or we'll give him the credit. They've been picking the games right throughout the year pretty well, I have to say. But random Clinton just all of a sudden had this thing fly in his brain and say, pick a 3-score win, and we did. And so he got it right with the margin of victory last week. What are you looking at for a score here in Santa Clara?
I feel like this is somehow going to be close. But I just can't see this Niners offense scoring more than 20 points against the Seahawks defense. So I'm going to say 23-20.
23-20 Hawks. And
Seahawks win.
Yeah. If we get over 20, we better win.
Mm-hmm. Clinton.
I think it'll take a little more.
Okay.
The good news is I think we're going to get a little more. So I've got this one at 31-27. Seahawks get the W. I think it's going to be tight, whether that means we're on defense to end it or we're in victory formation to end it. I think this is going to be a tight game, boys. 31-27, exciting game, a game where we're like, okay, this offense can take a week off and then can go really, really compete for a Super Bowl run. That's what I'm fired up for.
Price is righted me, Phil.
What's that?
Point.
Oh, did I? I didn't even.
You went 4 points. I went 3 points.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think it could be that way. I think that's probably the most likely outcome, is it's super close. But I think there's a non-zero chance that Mike solves Kyle and we hold him back, and they can't get after Sam, and we light it up. I don't know why I feel that way about this one. I just think there's a chance that we do, even though it's on the road.
I think there's a chance too. I think that I was looking at. I was going to bring this up on the main show too. So if people are hearing this for the second time, then you're welcome. But the big difference in these two teams, and I think this is why you feel that the Niners are 4-3 against playoff teams. Their point differential in those 7 games, though, is -10.
Yeah.
And that's pretty crazy to have a winning record but a negative point differential against these playoff teams. The Seahawks 5-2 against playoff teams. So they've also played 7 teams that are in the playoffs right now. The Seahawks point differential in those 7 games +42.
Yeah, that's quite different. We're better against good teams. Clinton does have me worried about the Shaheed thing. And I think, what is he, like 50-50 that he might play at this point? I mean, rarely do you get through concussion protocol on a short week, but it was a light concussion, whatever that is.
Yeah, it seems to be more this year than the last couple of years, that it's getting a bit more lenient again, where it's like, okay, a couple of years ago, it was like, you get a concussion, you might as well forget about the next week. It was like almost like just no way. Now it seems like, well, 18th game of the year, all of a sudden it's a light concussion and we really need this guy. Same thing with Upton Stout over on the 49ers side. It won't shock me if he's out there and clears concussion protocol. Won't shock me, guys. I think you said 50-50. I think Dr. Clint's medicine woman's going to put it at 92-8 that Shaheed will be out there. I think we're going to see him.
That's a big special teams boost as well.
Yeah.
I actually think if Sam gets time, JSN's enough. We can spam JSN against anybody if Sam has time. Nobody's keeping him from getting open for more than 2.5 seconds. It's just not. He's just too good at getting open. So
let's get him the record. Let's get JSN the record. Let's get the win, and let's get JSN in the MVP conversation.
Get him his Ohio State performance.
Yeah, give him a Rose Bowl day. The Rose Bowl out in California.
That's good.
I see some things happening there. I like that.
Yeah, now we're starting to sound like the homers that everybody knows we are.
Yeah, there we go.
Did I miss anything? I'm sure we did. There's so many things to talk about on this one. I'd like to ask, was there like a key thing you wanted to say about this game?
This is such a fun game that I'm looking forward to. And for it to end against the Niners, it's the fact that the Rams lost this week and just made it that much, like this game that much more impactful too.
Yes.
And less the fact that, I know we don't want to talk about it, but if we lose, we're playing Carolina again. Okay.
Or Tampa.
Come on now. Have you watched Tampa?
I have, but I watched Carolina too. It's any given Sunday type thing, right? So could be.
Yeah, it's not as terrifying that the season's over, but boy, our chances at getting at the Super Bowl are way bigger if we win this game.
Yeah, I want that one seed. Everything about this one seed is exactly why you play the entire year, guys. There's only one of them. Man, it's going to be so fun. I actually love, my last thought will be that I love the fact that it's Saturday night. I know some folks are like, how can we not get the Sunday night game? I get it. Saturday night's better. Yeah. That's even better.
More exciting.
It's one fewer days. Let's go get it. It's prime time. Yeah. The entire world's going to be watching Saturday night. Let's go beat the stupid freaking 49ers on their turf with the entire world watching and show them why we are the top dogs, not in the division, not in the NFC, but in the whole league.
Yeah, I love it. And I want Sam to get that confidence and his groove back with JSN against this putrid, pathetic, worthless edge rush that the Niners have.
Here's the other factor with that, Clinton, that with that being on Saturday, it's actually tougher on the Niners as a whole because this will be their third game in like 13 days because they played the Monday night game against Indy. They played the Sunday night game against the Bears. And then now on Saturday night, our third game was the one against the Rams on a Thursday. So in terms of impact,
has to play another game. Kyle. You're so mean to him.
Our rest days are right there. I love it. So let's take the rest days and just convert that into a big fat W. That's what I want.
Let's do it, gentlemen. Gentlemen, with all that, I'm looking forward to this. Everybody's going to have their big watch party, Saturday night football for all the marbles, for being like the team with the best chance at winning the whoever wins this game should be the favorite for the Super Bowl, I would say. Gentlemen, with that, what if we say
go Hawks?
Go Hawks. Win number 14. First time in franchise history. Here we go.
Go Hawks.